All right, boys and girls, I hope you are sitting down because it is time to talk about one of my favorite topics, and that is Facebook. That's right, it's one of my go-tos. I use it constantly for our National Convention of States movement. And there are some great reasons for why Facebook is an amazing tool, and I want to go over some of them with you. I think the first one is that social media really allows you to connect with people where they are. Most people are going to be scrolling through their Facebook feed or Instagram feed anyways, and so seeing a post from us is an amazing way to be able to engage them and educate them about our core mission and values. And the cool thing is that right now we've built up such a large social media following on Facebook that we're continually getting people messaging into our page and commenting on posts that we're putting out, who are asking questions, who want to know more about what we're doing and are excited, or some of them may have concerns. And all of those people are wanting to know more about Convention of States. So this is a pretty amazing opportunity to just respond and engage with the people who are already expressing an interest in what we're doing on social media, and getting them equipped with the information that they're looking for and sending them back to our website. One of the kind of amazing things about Facebook is it's one of our core drivers of traffic to our website right now. So a lot of the blogs that we put up, we'll share all of those out over our Facebook pages, and the majority of the traffic that go to there actually come from Facebook. So that's just another indicator that that's really where most people are seeing our content and are going back to the website to learn more about it. Facebook has also been responsible for recruiting over hundreds of thousands of petition signers. It is the #1 way that we recruit petition signers above everything else that we've done combined. Nothing is able to really keep up and compete with a lot of the Facebook advertising that we do to bring in those petition signers, which is a great way to bring people into the fold and get them started learning more about Convention of States. So those are some of the big reasons, why we really emphasize Facebook so much. And the awesome news is that we already have state Facebook pages that are pre-built for you and that have audiences already built up on them. And so really, one of your core goals is going to be to manage those pages. So I have a Facebook training document, which you'll be able to receive. It's called, I think it's like How to Manage a State Facebook Page. So I think probably the first question I would have if I were you in this position is, first off, how do I find my Facebook page? And that answer is pretty simple. You just go to facebook.com. You will have to have your own personal profile. Don't worry if you're posting as the page, they won't be able to tell that it's you, so your safety is really not at risk. If you want to create a separate profile for Facebook or for when you're doing stuff with Convention of States, you can do that. I know a lot of different volunteers who have decided to do that just to keep it separate. So that's an option to you, but you would just log into your normal Facebook account, and then in the search bar you'll search for Convention of States and then insert whatever the title or whatever the name of your state is. So if you're in Tennessee, it would be Convention of States Tennessee. If you're in Georgia, Convention of States Georgia. We've named all our pages very consistently in that naming scheme, so they should be very easy to find. So that's how you find it. Then the second question that I would probably have is, how do I get access to the page so that I can post to it and start working on it? And the answer to that is also pretty straightforward. There's a few different steps you'll need to follow. The first one is to send me an email at lscala, which is LSCALA, at cosaction.com, and you'll just request access to the page in that email. And then I always reply back with I think it's basically 3 steps that you have to do to get access to it. The first one is to make sure that you've either read that training document, the How to Manage a State Facebook page, or that you've gone through this training module. The second one is that you'll need to add me as a friend on Facebook so that I can give you access or set you up as an editor on the page. And then the last one is to just let me know when you've completed steps 1 and 2 so that I remember that I need to add you to the page. And that's really it. So it's those 3 steps, the read the training guide, add me as a friend on Facebook, and then let me know when you've completed those 2 steps, and then I'll get you added to that page. And then once you have access, you'll be added as an editor, which means that you really have pretty much complete power over the page. The only thing you can't do is add other people as editors to the page. So if you have other people within your state who want to help you manage the state Facebook page, that's completely fine as well. If you want to get some help with or some backup in that area, you'll just need to let me know, and they'll go through those same 3 steps, and then they can get access to the page as well. So those are, I think, the first 2 questions that I would have. And then I think the next question is really just, I want to make sure that you guys are comfortable as far as the messaging goes. There are a few things to remember because of the status and nature of our organization. And so I just want to cover a few quick rules for messaging in this section, and then we'll be done with this training segment. So the first thing to keep in mind is that we are a bipartisan organization, and so that means we really have to be careful about what messages we're putting out there. We always try to even-handedly criticize different political leaders, both conservatives and liberals. We really don't want to just be bashing Obama or just bashing Trump or whoever the political figure is of the day. Really, our goal is to kind of tie Convention of States into the news and show, how, Convention of States is really the answer to a lot of the problems that people are seeing in the news. Because when you think about it, most of the stuff you see on your Facebook timeline is really just going to be, this is a problem, this is a problem, this is a problem, and not many people are actually coming in there and saying, hey, we have a solution. But that's really what Convention of States is a solution, and I think that's one of the key reasons that we've attracted so many people to the movement, because I finally feel like they're able to be a part of an organization where they can make a difference, and a movement that's actually doing something about the problems, not just using it as a ploy to fundraise or to, grow notoriety. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Another important reminder is that you cannot endorse any political candidates on our pages. We are a C3 organization, and actually our Facebook pages are owned by our C4 organization, but either way that really means that we as an organization do not endorse any political leaders, so just be very careful whenever you're talking about a politician that you're not endorsing them. It is fine to say their stance on Convention of States, so you could say, thank you to Senator so-and-so for voting in favor of our resolution or for supporting the Convention of States project, but we would never say, go out there and make sure you support Senator so-and-so because he supports Convention of States. So there's kind of a fine line there, but it is a very important distinction. So if you have any questions about that, just ask before you post. It's better to be safe than sorry in that area because that can cause some legal issues. Another thing is just to keep in mind when you're posting to the page that this really that you're posting as the organization. So when you're posting to your state's page and you're posting as the page, you are representing the organization as a whole, and so it's important that you are only posting things that represent the views of the organization of Convention of States and not just your own political feelings. So that's a very important distinction. Please don't use our pages as your personal soapbox to say whatever you want to say. That will not go over well. And the other thing is just, as far as talking points go, I really think it's important that as much as we can, everything that we're posting is really tying back into Convention of States and really the 3 key elements that our application addresses, which is to limit the scope, the power and jurisdiction of the federal government, impose fiscal restraints and term limits on federal officials. And because we are a bipartisan organization, I would also recommend staying away from talking about social issues, which also don't really fall under our application for the most part anyways. So those tend to be very hot topics and very partisan feelings. So I would just recommend as a general rule to just stay clear of those, and you will generally be better off for that. And a few just last things to remember. Obviously, since you are representing the organization, make sure that you're writing in a professional tone. It's okay to do conversational language. You do want it to be really easy to understand. No need to feel like you're writing a scholarly essay or anything of that nature, but definitely never use any kind of vulgar language. I really avoid using caps or all caps in captions. I think those can oftentimes seem like you're screaming at people, which is really not professional. If you want to use it, sometimes I'll put like urgent or something in all caps or breaking news in all caps, but then the rest of it is not. So make sure that you're using moderation in that area. Same thing goes with, exclamation points. I would not put 50 exclamation points. One is plenty. Same with question marks. And just keep that in mind that as you're formatting your grammar and things of that nature, we really want it to be a professional tone. And then the last thing I think to mention is just repeat, repeat, repeat when it comes to messaging, and we'll talk, I think, a little bit more about this later on. But the cool thing about social media is you're really reaching new people all the time. So if I share a post with my friends, even though I may have seen a lot of your posts on your awesome state Facebook page, my friends probably never have. So, every time that's shared, it's the opportunity to reach a new audience. So whenever you're sharing content or writing captions or writing blogs, just want to make sure that you're keeping in mind that most people or a lot of people who are reading that could be new viewers, and it could be their first introduction to Convention of States. So I always try and give some kind of explanation within the post about what Convention of States is all about and kind of boil it down into a synopsis, so that even if it's a first-time person coming in, they have some idea about what Convention of States is all about. And with that, I'll close down this segment and we'll see you in the next training video.